Alrighty, so for week 4 in CIT 28, we are doing something different this week. We are moving from you coding along with Carter, doing the work of the proof of work for our course, the Git workflow, making sure your commits have the proof of work. You're still doing those things, but we're going to learn a new workflow, and it's called the proof of effort. Because instead of coding along, now you're going to be given a problem. Like, now you got this in week 3. Matter of fact, in the real world, I'm actually in Monday morning of week 3, and I just graded those of you who submitted your attendance and your first part of the last querying. And so you had a code challenge. And code challenges and problem sets are basically the same, right? But problem sets is something that CS50 uses as far as wording. But basically, you're given a problem and you write SQL to solve that problem. So this is where we're taking what you're learning by coding along, getting that muscle memory, getting introduced to the SQL, and we're saying, okay, now write a query that creates this type or creates this output. Now, in the way that I will cover this, I will show you how to determine your if what you wrote actually is correct. Okay, so that's just so we're making a major shift. We will do this problem set for CS50. We'll use it's called the Cyber Chase. It's a PBS series from several years ago, and there's a new database you're going to get this week. Okay, but we will do it this week and we will do it next. Now, I'm actually have a week 4, and I want to show you that unlike week 3 and week 2, there's going to be no AI review this week. And they are listed as due on that Monday, but as we've done before, there is a opportunity to take a break, and I definitely recommend on the problem sets you take a break for a couple of reasons. Take a break, give me your commit history. It allows me to see and give you feedback on the queries that you've written. Okay, and if you and how you're doing as far as the new workflow goes. Okay, so that's really helpful. And then you'll get a chance to submit your final one by the Thursday night, really, when I wake up Friday morning. If that's new to you, just know that even though, and I believe I've said this, things don't go away in our course, but on this item, because you can do the other half on Thursday night, it's really when I wake up Friday that it needs to be complete. And if you do submit it for the first break and you want to come back and actually do it, to get the review for the last part, definitely do that 24 hours ahead of time. And that's just true in general. And I believe I'll cover that in a second. Okay, but more than anything, I just wanted to tell you this. And in this point of time, some of you are just starting into the review for 3. And so we are in the process of actually realizing, and by the way, this is because of the way the LLMs work, is they're not consistent, and we're working on ways to make the wording more consistent. But any issues you have, and several of you reported this on Discord for week 2 because there was some issues not related to that, actually related to something else that was kind of weird that's now been fixed. But just know this is an ongoing project. We are actively developing this project, and the more and the quicker the feedback you give, the more it helps other students who come behind you. Okay, so now that's the first 2 items here, and actually even the third one is that a break is offered after you complete or attempt your first 3. And yes, as part of my review, I will go in and tell you if your queries were right. I won't give you the correct queries at that point. You can still attempt them if you didn't. And actually, this speaks to the third point, is if you want my review of your work, it is best to submit 24 hours ahead of the due date. Okay, and again, there's a group of you doing this. I so appreciate it. All right, so this gets actually into what we're going to do here. And then I will also at the end here cover how to actually do the graded part of the discussion. Okay, and then late passes. Just to be clear, maybe about late passes, you have 2 of them. You can earn more of them by seeing Brianna. you generally passes follow a due date. So if there are, in this case, right, in this case, there's 2 items due on one due date, right? If you submitted them after, you could use a late pass for that. Okay, so just know that it's one late pass per due date, and I will spell that out in the syllabus because I think it would be helpful. Okay, so now you're going to have a video here where I'm going to actually walk you through how to do the setup. Okay, here. Where's the link? Oh, I got to make sure I give the link. Okay, good. I just saw that I didn't give the link to the instruction, which, by the way, this actually points out something that I may have told you, but there's a files folder in our repos. So if I do files here, I can see it. Okay, so in this case for 4, this was the link. Oh, actually it's good. I forgot to publish it. See, but in this case, by the time you see this, it will be published. But I just want you to know that is there. Oh yeah, instruction link. Okay, good. Okay, so you will walk through the instructions I provide you for this attendance proof. Actually, it's a code challenge that includes how to do the proof of work. So it's 2 problems we're going to have for this one, right? So you get 10 points for setting up the files and folders and to get to know the data set. So this work with that link that I provide will be 10 points, okay? So then what you'll get is 20 points as I code along. You will code along as I cover how the problem set works and we complete problem 1. Okay, so you get points from following along with me. Now this is where, heads up, there is an error in here. And in this second video, I actually made an error where I was writing the SQL on the wrong terminal. And I caught it somewhere into there, but I fixed it and I showed you how to actually do that. Because writing the SQL on a terminal is how you actually you do the proof of effort. You then copy that content into your README file. Again, you'll learn that. Okay, so that's worth 20 points. Okay, so I'm just showing you how I grade. Again, there's nothing, and then you will have your attempt at the second problem on your own. Okay, so I'm actually saying, okay, here's the setup, here's how you do our added workflow. So we still do the get, we still do the proof of work, and now we're adding, which by the way is our last workflow, if that helps any at all, for the course. Okay, so in this case, what I will do is look for, did you complete all the steps in the workflow loop? You'll understand what that means now by the time you got here. Or actually, you could also, by the way, pause, could do that, and then pick this up after, right? Okay, so let's see. No need to post. Yeah, so there's no need to post in your reply about this stuff, okay? So now what you're going to do here, now that we've gone through the process, I kind of came up with something that I thought might be fun, which is for 25 points, we're going to do 2 truths and a syntax error, okay? So in your reply, do the following, and this is where I'm covering it now in the course topics, right? So review that proof of work DS file. That file can be very helpful, and I want you to come up with 3 queries, okay? Now implement some of the things we've learned, right, through the course. Don't just write a simple select star from long list. Or actually, in this case, it's episodes. That's actually your table name here, okay? So 2 of these queries need to be valid queries. Make sure they actually run. Now, there's no need to do proof of work for this work, okay? All we're doing is putting them in here, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, okay? So, but there's no need to add to any file that we've already done. We're really just saying, okay, and this is really just giving you more experience of looking at, and by the way, also don't do any of the problems here, and if you happen to look ahead to the problem set, don't do any of those as well. Okay, so come up with new ones, and this is where it's fun to get to know the data set. Okay, so 2 of the queries are valid. Make sure they run. One of the queries, one of them must have a subtle mistake, okay? And this, and don't reveal which is which, okay? So I'll show you now how to actually post these, okay? Now, you might think that you just could, copy and paste. that does show up, but I actually want to give you another way to do it. So once you copy and paste here, okay, go into, and this is where, by the way, even just taking this for the data analytics path, those folks, and for the web developer folks, this will make sense. It may not be new. And even for those who are in data analytics, if you come down here, what happens is when you're writing in this discussion board, behind the scenes, what it's actually creating is what we call markup. Okay, so this is just a paragraph. So I'm going to toggle back and forth. So this is what, when somebody else looks at your post, they'll see. This is actually what gets submitted when you do that. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to do a couple things first. I'm going to say, right, I'm going to say my queries, right, so I'm going to give that a heading, and I'm just going to show you what this looks like. And I'm going to come back down here. Oh yeah, see now, so actually when you select in, we call this a WYSIWYG editor, right, here's what happens when actually it's coded. This is actually the code that creates that output. So in here, so instead of just a paragraph, for each query, now do this for each one that you do pre. What this means is pre-formatted, okay? I didn't have to get rid of the pre. Now I'm going to show you how different this looks. And this is just part of how I will grade. It's minor points, but it's there, okay? So now, okay, so notice how that actually looks closer to what we would expect. So this is code. So then you would do another one, right? And do, now I'm not going to do here, right? Oh, actually notice, oh, look what happened. Oh, that's interesting. So look what happened. It actually, ooh, let me actually fix that. Oh, I love it when things happen. Okay. So what happened here was that it went, and actually this is good. So we could copy this line, right? And just come down and now provide your second one. Copy the line and provide the third one. And then, you know, write something here. Yeah, and I actually don't make you write something, but, you know, but don't tell them. Don't tell them which is which, right? Maybe write something fun. Again, not required, okay? Now, what you're going to do, so that's 25 points. So 15 points, right? Read a student's post. Now, by the way, see if you can just look at the query to see if it's a correct query or not, right? Because this is where the more time you spend looking at queries, the better you get at it, right? And then figure out, right? Tell them which one's the lie. So maybe what we want to do, so let's see, could we... I'm trying to think of ways we could label this because we actually could now. So I could say query 1. I don't know. We can count, right? Now I want to show you actually what happens here because let's see. In this one, I think it's going to do it in code and it's going to do it in pre. And it did. Ace. Okay, we're not going to do that. I'm going to undo that. I'm not even going to make you do that. Okay. So put a heading, put your 3 queries, okay, and then reply to somebody, tell them there. Now, by the way, when you reply, tell them why that's an error, okay, which is a lie. And if you have an error or something else you found, tell them why. And by the way, here's where it's really important to select folks who don't have a reply. I will look for that in this particular one. Okay, I hope you have fun with this. This is a really pivotal week for us as we move towards you writing queries based on what you've learned. All right, I'll talk to you later.